Here's my wife.
That bus.
There's our boat.
Whose boat?
And George's ladder. My wife taking a picture of our 3 kids getting off the bus for the first day of school.
Christian's first day of kindergarten. Cut it out here.
Wade's dad broke it.
Why did he do that?
He was opening it for him.
Good morning, everybody. Charles here, Pew here on Kid Talk. We are talking about a great question. Here's my question. How much do your parents really know about you? Now, shh, we don't want them to know, but really know about you. I mean, do they know about the girlfriend that you have, if you have one? Do they know about that you really can't stand Brussels sprouts? Well, that's what we're talking about today. I mean, if you spend some time with your parents, would they find out things about you that you didn't know or they didn't know? I mean, how much do parents know about their kids these days? And with us are these students from Morton Middle School and Franklin. Also, our guest expert today is Jim Zell. He's a social worker at Norfolk Family Services. Give yourselves a big round of applause for coming. So be very quiet on today's show because we're talking about what they don't know about you. Now, last February, Carolyn Castleberry put together a series of stories for Wavy News 10 on parent-child relationships. We gave 3 students at 3 different schools 3 different video cameras and asked them to get a kid's view of how much parents really know about their kids. And here's what we found.
Is there anything that your parents don't know about you?
Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff.
The kids were split right down the middle. Many of them said they were honest with their parents, while others said their parents just don't understand what it's like to be kids these days.
They don't really know exactly the kind of stuff that we go through, especially in school and in the neighborhood. It's a lot more stressful than they think.
Because there's certain things that are real shocking to my mom when I try to tell her, and she just doesn't believe it. Like, the number of kids having guns and how easy it is to get a gun, how easy it is to get drugs.
Do you feel like you can talk to your parents about anything?
Nope.
Why?
Because they never told me.
But some kids said their parents are also their friends.
What makes them easy to talk to?
Because they're just like little kids. They're on my level. My mom understands because she always looks at the point that when she was my age, she did the same.
Do you feel you can be honest with your parents, talk to them about things? Really? What makes them easy to talk to?
Well, they're real understanding. They don't get upset at me for the little things. And I have an older brother, so they've been through all of this problems, and I think it's easier for them now to deal with me.
They understand because they've been through stuff that I haven't been through yet.
And their advice?
Just always be willing to sit down and talk and try to have an open mind. Be willing to listen and give advice.
All right. Who in here thinks that their parents really don't know a lot of stuff about them? Okay, so everybody in here feels pretty much that their parents know them, yeah? Okay. How can parents get to know their kids more, do you think? I want you to think about that now, because we're going to answer that question in our next segment. But right now, how do you think parents and kids should get along? Do you think kids should tell their parents everything?
Yeah.
Yes? Everything? How many of you in here have a journal or a diary? All right. Would you want your parents to read your diary or your journal?
No.
No. Okay. Yes?
No.
No. Okay, who else? Ebony's back here. Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't.
You would not want them to read it. Okay, so you can't really tell them everything then, right? Are there some things that you should not tell your parents? Yes. Okay, like what? Give me an example. Alexis, you say yes. Like what?
About different kinds of things that happen in school.
In school, you shouldn't tell them what happened at school?
No.
Like when you get in trouble with the teacher? You mean that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, the teacher will probably tell them too. But is there anything else? I mean, you know, how about what you feel about them sometimes when they make you mad? Shouldn't you keep that to yourself sometimes? But who in here feels that they can be honest with their parents about telling them things? Okay, what are some of the things that you have told your parents that maybe you don't think your friends have, Lavelle?
Just about everything in school.
In school. So even when you don't do so well on tests and stuff like that, do you tell them? All right, I'm going to tell a secret. I did really poorly in my first semester at college. And my grandmother, I don't think she knows today. And I went to college in 1989. I did really bad. I was so surprised how badly I did. But I didn't tell her because I didn't want her to be worried. Is there anything in here that you've never told your parents that you might want to tell now? No? Why not? Well, so what about those things? I mean, do you think that, what did you say?
Killed my cousin once.
How did you almost kill your cousin?
I almost took his head off.
With?
My I was doing like that.
Oh,
And I was twisting his head.
you were twisting his head. Okay, so now there is a statute of limitations for almost taking your cousin's head off, so you won't get in trouble for telling that on TV. All right, let's give it up for Lavelle for telling a secret to his parents. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else who wants to share something? Is there anybody in here who has, like, a girlfriend or a boyfriend that your parents don't know about? So when did you tell your parents about your boyfriend?
The day that I started going with
And when was that? How old are you now?
12.
You're 12. And your parents let you date?
They don't let me go out, but they let me have a boyfriend.
And so you talk on the phone and that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Zell, should I don't know, should kids tell their parents everything, or?
No, I think that each child needs to have some privacy of their own, and I think they need to be able to make that judgment at times, and I think they need to have an open and honest communication with their parents, but also have the opportunity or the choice to not share things that they don't want to or aren't ready to.
Who in here feels that they can be really honest with their parents and tell them stuff? Tell them stuff. Okay, give me an example, Caleb, of how you can tell. I mean, would you tell your parents that you did get a bad grade, or that maybe, you know, I don't know, you said something mean to somebody and without fear of getting in trouble, or I don't know?
If I got a bad grade on the test, they would find out anyway because the teacher would tell them.
So what would you do then once you got the bad grade? Would you come home and tell them, or would you just wait until the teacher told them?
Come home and wait a few hours and then show them.
Okay. And so would you but you wouldn't be afraid of getting in trouble, would you?
Kind of.
Okay. Can you tell them other things? Who in here can be honest with their parents and tell them stuff about, even when they don't do so well? Why do you feel like you can tell your parents stuff like that, Bert?
Because they understand and they can help me with problems. Like if I'm having a problem with a kid at school who's always up in my face and trying to fight me, they can help me work that out.
Yeah, they can give you some good examples of how not to get into a fight, maybe how to avoid fighting, or how to, get the teachers, how to get along, but also how to get the teachers involved as well. Well, coming up in our next segment, we're going to answer this question for you. How can parents learn more about their kids? And guess who's going to answer the question? These kids are. So hear from kids about how you can learn more about your kids coming up in just a moment.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have more Kid Talk after the break.
Your family may be large or small or somewhere in between. No matter what your family looks like, we'll help you look after them with the Medicaid HMO that puts family first. Centera Family Care. You'll have your own Centera Family Care doctor. Your kids will too. Plus a choice of hospitals and programs to keep everybody healthy. This year, choose Centera Family Care. For you, for them, for the family.
My job is to make homes more energy efficient. I share what I've learned with Christmas in April because some houses take an enormous amount of energy, more than you could ever imagine, just to make them livable. I'm fortunate to work for a company that supports these types of programs. It changes people's lives and puts things in perspective.
Now, is that Christmas in April or what?
God bless your heart, each and every one of you.
You know that line, it takes more than electricity to be your power company? It really does.
It's time for more Kid Talk on Wavy TV 10.
Hey everybody, Charles Pugh back here on Kid Talk. We're talking about how much parents really know about their kids' lives. Now, honesty is a key ingredient in any relationship. Would you agree that honesty is, yes, okay? But it is especially important that kids and parents keep the lines of communication open, honestly.
Hi.
Hey, I can't wait for the party tonight.
Me either. But I told my parents that we're going to the movies, so you'll have to play along.
Okay, but I already told my parents that we're going to the party.
Sometimes I wonder if my parents really know what I'm up to. I mean, they usually ask me how my night went, but they don't pry.
Why didn't you just ask them about the party?
I was afraid that if they knew, they wouldn't let me go.
I think my parents are letting me go because they know about it. Since we have an honest relationship, we can be open about anything. They know what goes on, but they know they can depend on me not to do anything I'd be ashamed of. This is going to be a great party.
Maybe my parents would be cool, too. I'll tell them that we're really going to a party tonight instead of a movie.
Good idea. Then nobody has to lie, and we can just concentrate on having a good time.
All right. Why is honesty important? I mean, why should you not lie to your parents about where you're going? Any other hands? Yes, ma'am.
Because if you lie about where you're going, then if something happens in the family, they won't know where you are and call and they can't find you.
Yeah, they won't know where you are if something happens. Yes, ma'am, Stephanie.
If you go somewhere and they don't know, it might be somewhere that is dangerous and somebody might be there that could hurt you or something like that.
Yeah, getting into stuff that, you shouldn't necessarily be in, yes.
Like if you're going somewhere and they don't know where you're at, you could probably get drugged or drunk or something.
Yeah, or robbed or whatever. So now here's my question. How can parents, we asked this question in our last segment, how can parents get to know more about their kids? More about their kids. Because do you think, before I ask that question, do you think that these days, in the days we're living in right now, the days where you are a kid, do you think that parents know more about their kids or less about their kids than they used to? When your parents were kids, more or less?
I think that these days parents know a little bit less because kids are up to more than they used to. And, well, yeah.
So you think that there's more for them to do and therefore more to discuss, and there's almost too much to discuss, less time. Okay. Other hands? Okay. More or less, Bert?
I think it's about the same because kids are telling their parents more these days, but they're also leaving out more. There's more stuff to know. There's thoughts are more complex than they were before.
Mr. Zell, what do you think?
Actually, I think it's mixed. I think kids are sharing more, and there's more open relationships, but I think parents are not necessarily as available. I think you have two paycheck families, plus lots of families where parents are out of town working, so I think they're not as available, where in the old days where you had, let's say, farm families or families with lots of extended family.
Well, they were all out
community.
there milking those cows, right?
Well, they just had lots more time to be together and share.
What about that question about how parents can get to know their kids more? I mean, are there those of you in here who have rooms that your parents don't dare go into? Yeah. How do you think parents can get to know their kids more?
If they talk to them more and check on them at school or anything like that.
Yeah, talk to your kids more. Way back in the corner. Let's go back here. Yes, Griffin.
Like sometimes if I would tell them more if they didn't get mad at me. Sometimes, like
I agree with you. Maybe my grandmother would have known about my bad grades in college if I didn't think she was going to get mad. So I just didn't tell her. And I knew what I needed to do to improve my grades. I didn't need her yelling at me to tell me. And I just went ahead and improved my grades and never told her that I got bad grades. But is that what you mean? Just being more open to what you have to say.
Instead of losing their temper as fast.
I think let's give Griffin a big round of applause for that one. Griffin hit it on the head. If you want your kids to talk to you more, parents, then be more open to what they have to say and keep a cooler head. Don't blow up. Is that a good idea? Yeah. Okay. Any other ideas? Yes, ma'am.
I think that it would be a lot easier for parents to talk to their kids if they made themselves more available and they set aside just a little bit of time every day, like whether it's like at breakfast or dinner or just like in the evenings, just to talk to their kids and when they weren't engaged in other things.
Good idea. Yes, sir, Mark?
I think it would be easier if parents would get into more things that their kids do, and then they'd have more time to talk.
More time to talk. If you're out there with your kids rollerblading, then maybe you could talk to them. Yes.
They could spend more time together and...
As a family, right?
So they can, like, talk and everything like that.
Good suggestion. Yes, ma'am.
Parents could take their children out, like, to the movies or someplace where they could have a time to have fun time together instead of, like, going to work all the time.
Okay. Mr. Zell, what do you think? I mean, these are some great suggestions.
Absolutely. I think parents need to make some time to waste time with their kids.
That's right, because time is so precious. You think, oh, I just don't have the time. I got to do the thing. I got to do that.
Yeah, I think just hanging out, doing, quote, nothing. I think that presents some opportunities for lots of good things to happen as you're just being with your kids, doing nothing.
Mr. Zell hit it on the head. It's okay to do nothing. We'll get your hand in just a moment. We're going to go to our kid tips right now. Kids, here are some suggestions for you about how to spend more time with your parents and learn more about them, and they can learn more about you. Talk to your parents, first of all. Be honest about your feelings. And have fun with your parents. Not all conversations have to be life-changing or extremely serious. Have fun, and like Mr. Zell says, do nothing. We're back in a moment right here on Kid Talk. Don't go away. Good.
Langley Federal Credit Union can help your family prepare for the future and make life picture perfect for all of your needs. If you're buying a house, sending someone off to college, buying a new car or minivan, or just planning a well-deserved vacation, Langley Federal Credit Union can help with an affordable loan and other financial services for a lifetime, for better or worse, for those retiring and those celebrating a new beginning. Langley Federal Credit Union, the spirit of community, warmth of family, pride of membership.
Different days, different deals. At McDonald's, on Sundays, our delicious cheeseburgers are 39 cents each. While on Wednesdays, you'll find our classic hamburgers for 29 cents each. Now, for those of you who've got to see it to believe it, Sundays are 39-cent cheeseburger days. Wednesdays are 29-cent hamburger days. 2 different days, 2 different incredible deals. Right now, for a limited time, only at McDonald's. Did somebody say McDonald's?
If you make the honor roll this school year, we'd like you to join our Kid Talk A-Team. All you have to do is mail a copy of your report card and a picture of yourself to Wavy TV, care of Kid Talk, 300 Wavy Street, Portsmouth, Virginia, 23704.
Love that A-Team. Charles Pugh back here in Kid Talk talking about parents. Now, some people say that they have a hard time talking to their parents, while others consider their parents to be, well, their friends as well. How many of you in here feel that it is hard to talk to parents sometimes? Hard to talk. Okay, Tracy, let's go around. Millard. Yes. Why do you say that?
It depends on what you're talking about. It's like if they're in a good mood, sometimes I tell them something bad. And if they're in a bad mood, I just won't even tell them at all.
Really? You just wait, because you're afraid that they'll get mad at you. Yeah, so that keeps you from sharing. Okay. Did you have your hand up, Ebony? Yes.
Well, what I think is it's not really hard to talk to them, only because if you have a personal thing, I could see if it was somebody you didn't know or...
They're your parents, for goodness sakes. They're in the house with you, so you can tell them, right? Is that what you feel?
Yes.
Okay. You have shared personal things with them? Okay. Did I see other hands? Who thinks it's hard or easy? I don't know. Kimberly? Yes.
Because, like, if, oh, I forgot.
You forgot? That's okay. But, I mean, do you consider yourself a friend of your parents, or do you consider yourself, you sort of take it easy and are cautious with what you say to them?
But if, like, they don't have enough time, you can't. And sometimes you're scared to because you don't think they might not understand or something.
Yeah. How many of you think your parents were born adults? Yes. Bert, you had your hand up. You had a story about your dad. What were you saying that your dad said?
My dad says, almost on a weekly basis, "You think this is hard? I had to walk to school 7 miles barefoot in the snow, uphill both ways."
Your dad and my grandmother must have grown up in the same town. Have those uphill both-way trips. Any other hands? I saw some more hands down here about how you get along with your parents and what you say. Do you consider them friends, or are you cautious with what you say?
Well, I consider them my friends, but sometimes I'm cautious because it depends on what I'm really saying, because I mean, I always talk to them, but sometimes I'm a little worried about what I'm saying, even though I always tell them anyway.
Do you wish that your parents would try to understand, would try to think back to when they were kids? Ebony, you have your hand up? Yeah.
I do, only because sometimes, even if you tell them good things, they might take it the wrong way, and they...
I don't think you're a bad person. Do you have an example of how you can tell them something good and they take it the wrong way?
If you could tell them, say you brought an A and they had a bad day, they might just take...
They may say, "Oh, okay, that's nice, get out of my face."
True.
Instead of saying, "Oh, wow, that's great, girl, let's go celebrate." Okay, very good. Felicia, did you have your hand up, or are you just scratching your forehead? Do you have your hand up? No, you don't. Okay, she's like, well, let me ask you anyway. I mean, do you consider yourself a friend of your parents, or are you cautious with what you tell them?
Yes, because sometimes they don't understand. Because one time I brought an A home, and my mother said, "You just bring in the good grades home, but not the bad grades."
Oh, well, that's a good point. You know, see that? Oh, see, Mom, I don't know, you tainted that situation. Mom says you're only bringing the A's home. Well, of course she's only bringing the A's home. Yes.
Well, sometimes they're real good to talk to, because a lot of times they try to be like us. They'll try to talk like us, but they really mess up, and we all just have fun doing it.
Try to talk the slang, you know.
Yeah, she's always trying to say, "Oh, you're so hip," and my sister's favorite word is like, "Well, that's so gay, Dad." Like, he's always dancing stupid in the house, and she goes, "That's so gay." So he goes, "Well, you're so gay too."
And he doesn't know how to use it right. Right. Oh, you have fun. That's good. Okay. Yes, ma'am, Mary.
sometimes parents really don't understand, like, on the basis of cleaning, like, especially, like, making your bed, because especially since it's in your room and you're the only one who has to look at it, they still make you clean it, even though you're the only one in there.
So you're saying that your parents shouldn't have domain over your room. That's your room. You should be able to close the door, and it can look like anything.
I can understand, like, a little cleaning, but, I mean, making...
Like, you know, making sure the pillow is straight.
I mean, making the bed, I just don't get that, because all you're going to do is you're going to get right back in it in, like, a few hours.
Why make it up if you're just going to mess it up and get back in it? Who agrees with Mary? Let's give it up for Mary! Yes! We're never going to make our beds ever again. No! I'm just telling it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Mr. Zell, I don't know. Should parents have domain over their kids' rooms? Do you have children?
Yeah, I have 4 grown children.
Oh, 4 grown children.
I basically, the way I handled that was to let them basically have domain over their rooms.
Give it up for Mr. Zell! Yes.
Well, I think, you know, that didn't bother me. Some parents, that really bothers.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a different situation in different families, the impact that. One thing I want to say is about the relationship between kids and their fathers.
Yes.
I think oftentimes kids have a relationship directly with their mothers, but not with their fathers. And I think every father needs to have a direct relationship with his child. I think that's important for him and for the child.
Yeah.
And to not go through the mother in relating to the child.
Do you think that it makes a difference? Do you think you can see a difference in kids who have good relationships with their parents? I mean, with their dads?
Sure. I think that's important in terms of your sense of self, both for boys and girls.
And also for the dads, too. I'm sure it's very gratifying.
Absolutely.
Who's closer to their mothers in here? Mothers? Closer to your fathers? Do you, who in here feels like they're just close to both, about equal? Okay, good. Those are the smart kids who said that. No, I'm joking. No, I'm glad you were honest. What would make your parents a good listener, do you think? A good listener would make them better listeners. Let's go to Mark, then Ebony. Yes.
If they just, like, listen to your problems and not tell anybody, just be somebody that would listen.
Okay. Very good. Just listen and don't tell your business to the rest of the family. Yes.
Like, just tell them where they don't have anything on their mind, and then they can listen better.
Like on the weekend, maybe, when they're not, you know, worrying about work. Yes, ma'am.
Tell them, like, when they're not really doing anything, like cleaning as far as, and also washing the car or something like that.
Like at dinner, maybe, when you're eating. Okay. What if you don't like the dinner? Are you honest about that? Can you tell your mom that, you know, well, Mom, or Dad may cook too. I mean, what do you think? Can you tell them, yes or no? Yes? Oh, okay, good. All right, Jenny, you had your hand up earlier.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to talk to your parents sometimes because they get worried, and you don't want them to get worried. You just want to talk to them. You don't want them to have to worry about you.
So you might avoid telling them stuff, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Ebony, hand up, yes.
What I think is that they should sometimes take any time from out their time and put it in your time. That way they can spend enough time with you and listen to whatever they want to tell you or show anything they want to show you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ebony. And we are going to go to our parent tips right now. Parents, what do you think? I don't know. Let's take a look. First of all, get involved in your child's life. Secondly, talk to your child about everything. And third, be a positive role model. We're back in a moment right here on Kid Talk. Don't go away.
Langley Federal Credit Union can help your family prepare for the future and make life picture perfect for all of your needs. If you're buying a house, sending someone off to college, buying a new car or minivan, or just planning a well-deserved vacation, Langley Federal Credit Union can help with an affordable loan and other financial services for a lifetime, for better or worse, for those retiring and those celebrating a new beginning. Langley Federal Credit Union, the spirit of community, warmth of family, pride of membership.
Different days, different deals. At McDonald's, on Sundays, our delicious cheeseburgers are 39 cents each. While on Wednesdays, you'll find our classic hamburgers for 29 cents each. Now, for those of you who've got to see it to believe it, Sundays are 39-cent cheeseburger days. Wednesdays are 29-cent hamburger days. 2 different days, 2 different incredible deals. Right now for a limited time, only at McDonald's. Did somebody say McDonald's?
We love mail here at Kid Talk. Write or email us with any questions, comments, or suggestions.
Hey, we're going to get on out of here, but before we go, we want to thank Morton Middle School in Franklin for sending us such fabulous students. Also, we want to thank Mr. Jim Zell from Norfolk Family Services. So we'll see you next week on Kid Talk. Mwah. I'm Charles Pugh. We're going to continue our discussion, though, with Mary Margaret, who's going to make the last comment on our show. Scoot over a little bit. I'm going to sit down next to you. So what are we, we're talking about, you know, families, kids, and parents. How can they get along better? How can they learn more about each other, do you think?
Well, they can spend more time with their kids and talk to them, like we said. And
do you feel comfortable talking to your parents, though, about everything?
pretty much everything.
You do? You can tell them, like, if you like a boy.
Believe it or not, I've always wanted to be a Virginia Power lineman. My father retired after 30 years with the power company. Bottom line, there's no technology that's going to stop a thunderstorm. You got to put that in the back of your mind. Weekends, holidays, all hours of the night.
It takes more than electricity to be your power company.
It's my job to deliver the electricity, quickly and safely.
It takes people like Martin Fields.
But when the storm hits, it all comes down to 2 guys in a bucket truck to get the job done.
Your family may be large or small or somewhere in between. No matter what your family looks like, we'll help you look after them with the Medicaid HMO that puts family first. Centera Family Care. You'll have your own Centera Family Care doctor. Your kids will too. Plus a choice of hospitals and programs to keep everybody healthy. This year, choose Centera Family Care. For you, for them, for the family.
10 on your side means health news you need from your Wavy family doctor, David Mazel.
10 on your side.
The following is a paid presentation brought to you by the Professional Education Institute.
No one in this real-life program was paid for their appearance, and each story is fully supported by signed affidavits. Would you like to earn a large extra income in your spare time?
I have a cash flow now of $4,500 a month, and I have a net worth of close to $1 million.
Would you like to work right out of your home?
I get up with my children, feed them, go to my office, which is now out of my house, which is excellent.
Would you like to buy your dream home with no down payment?
I purchased my own home, no money down.
This home here, you purchased no money down?
Yeah, no money down.
It's beautiful.
My dream one day was to own my own house, you know, and now I have 15 of them.
Hi, I'm Kurt Gowdy, here today to tell you that over 500,000 people have already begun living the good life. And they've all done it by following a step-by-step program for investing in real estate with no down payment, developed by Carlton Sheets. His story has appeared in many newspapers, magazines, and talk shows. He has personally bought and sold over $25 million worth of real estate, and over the past 20 years has taught his technique to over 1 million people, many of whom have gone on to achieve enormous fortunes. Stay tuned to find out just what these people are doing so they can live the good life. Most important, you'll see how you can do it too.
We had a bankruptcy from 8 years ago, which was haunting us every